Hi, Jessica, number 2.
Hello.
All right, welcome everybody. Thanks for attending our remote virtual meeting tonight. I'm gonna start sharing my screen right away. And as I do that, Erin is off on a well-deserved vacation, Erin Lofton, so she will not be attending tonight. She offered to remote in, but I discouraged that strongly. She needs a vacation like the best of us. However, Christy Nolan is going to work with us a little bit tonight on recruiting, relying on her day job skills. So she will help lead one of the breakout rooms when we get to that point in the meeting. Our agenda is on the screen in front of you. We'll do the now regular Dac snapshots. We will work on recruiting and member selection tonight. That will be the breakouts. We have a couple of quick Zoom poll questions around summer work logistics. Should only take a couple of minutes, and then some last steps, and we will adjourn. I am expecting this meeting will get out early for anyone who may need that, maybe as much as a half an hour, but we'll see how that goes. Fairly condensed agenda tonight. All right, our Dac snapshot, new information is in bold. Hopefully that transmits for you. The written report for the simplification work that we did this year was formally transmitted to the board for pre-review, early review. There was an invitation for questions around that ahead of our May 25th presentation, but that is done. Moving over to charter, Erin and I and any of you that are interested in continuing that charter work will finalize our role in May and possibly into the summer with Mary Ann. We'll finalize that spreadsheet tool, the timeline in which we'll do our work and what the site visits will look like, and then we will commence regular work in the fall of 22. I should back up and say our regular work for UIP will also begin later this year. I think we'll be back to normal in all areas except possibly spending priorities. The ball is in mine and Erin's court to map out our scope and plan by the end of May to get back to Courtney and Jamie, so we can dial in that work memo and what it'll look like over the next couple of years. And as of now, there's no start date for that work. But it's something that we definitely want to hit and get ready to go for the next school year. The SAC work, as I've relayed every meeting, this is new work for us. We're pioneering this for our group. The toolbox work is set to continue at the May 11th meeting. That's our next DAC meeting. That'll be in person. And then over the summer as well, there'll be some follow-up work from those who are interested in that. Our deliverable for this year is our plan for how we're going to attack the work in future years, specifically next year. The most movement has been in the DAC administration. A member survey went out this morning. I received it, so hopefully all of you members did as well. These are the questions that Erin and I put forth. We were hoping to have that included in the regular survey, but this is where we get your feedback about how the program year went, specific to DAC and specific to our leadership. 5 questions, so if you haven't already, please take a few minutes and fill that out for us. Membership committee, that is a new group of members that we need to build, and we'll be asking for folks to put their hand up for that later tonight, but you'll get a little more information around what that looks like and what the time commitment is. I believe it's a one-time ask this year as we kind of monitor the process for recruiting and onboarding this summer and into the fall. And that's one of the succession plans that Aaron and I have for the DAC, is to build that into more of a process and maybe get some permanence in that committee. Task list volunteers, that was maybe 6 weeks old. I finally got those out this morning. We had some DAC drive cleanup being done by Melanie. That was done, so I sent those emails out. So if you volunteered, you should have heard from me this morning, and you can get with me directly about any questions or completing that. Any questions on the snapshot before I move on? All right. I do want to give a shout out to the magnificent Melanie Dills. She is fabulous. We now have online resources. This is something that we have wanted for a couple of years. We finally have it organized in a way that we're ready to publish. There's a couple of links. That's just for the record. Of course, you can't access those. I will send those out in a separate email, most likely tomorrow morning. But we have all of the meeting materials posted by meeting date in a folder so that you can go back in time and refer to those, as well as a single document that has all of the materials in an index. So there'll be the live broadcast on YouTube that you can click into if you missed a meeting or wanted to recapture some of it. All the documents that we used, the PowerPoint presentations, all of that will be available to members. And then the next step in that context is to get onto board docs, where we can publish those records to the general public. That would be completing that project for us, but I definitely wanted to give Melanie a shout out for all of her work helping us this year. All right, we're going to move on to membership and recruiting. It's going to be the main focus tonight. And to set the table, this slide was from our orientation back in August or September when we met for the first time in the school year. Wanted to draw your attention to the orange boxes. Aaron and I, our mission is on this slide. And the bottom left, our energy is to provide opportunity for members to learn, members to contribute, and for members to engage in all of the work that the DAC does, if they so choose. Self-sufficiency, we have moved to driving our own recruiting. We certainly are relying on the district and the board for assistance, but we are intentionally moving toward our own recruiting process so that we can do that in a targeted manner, so we can get specific representation and we can get specific skills that will benefit this group. And then engaging the community and building a stronger DAC community is our overall goal. And doing that through diversity, which we currently believe is by getting individual school representation on this DAC. There's certainly other definitions of diversity, but we think that that is the quickest way to achieve district geographic diversity. Some bylaws to refresh your memory around membership. Parents must outnumber the next largest group of members. We do meet that requirement, and we have met that requirement in the years that I've been here. We need to have at least one teacher, administrator, and community member. President, vice president, secretary communications are elected for 2-year terms, and we're limited to 2 terms. That is and has been actually overridden because Aaron and I have been in those roles for longer than 4 years now. There hasn't been any voiced concern around that, and we actually want to see this process through by backfilling our own roles. We do intend to run again in the election in September. but certainly that will be open. And we still need to fill the Secretary and Communications position, still vacant. We'll do our best this summer. Members, the rest of you serve for 2-year terms, maximum of 3 terms, and then a year off minimum. Because of our newly formed DAC 5-ish years ago, we will be working over the summer with Melanie and any board records that exist, maybe from Francis, to get definite term dates for our members so that we know where we stand. We definitely want to get into compliance and then approach the board if we need any exceptions or overrides on those rules to keep the group going. Dac Recruiting and Selection. We are currently using board referrals. So these are names that board members put forth. Same with district referrals. Priscilla and her team make recommendations for membership, and many of you have come that way. We get applications through our DAC website on the Adams 12 main website. And then one of our talent pools has been the 5-Star Leadership Academy, also known as FSLA. And there is a recruiting fair that is happening, I believe, next Friday morning. There is an opportunity for you to attend as members if you would like, but there is not a need. Aaron and or I will attend that on behalf of DAC and make that presentation in person and man the table, looking for future DAC members. When we talk about recruiting, our goal is diversity through school representation, as I mentioned, and then targeted recruiting. We have Christy on board, Christy Nolan, helping us with that. We have specific committee needs, bringing your day job skills to this group and applying those to different areas of success for the DAC. Committee insight, public education subject matter expertise is an area where our members shouldn't necessarily be subject matter experts, but it's really nice to have members who have that expertise. Erin Lofton is definitely one of those for us. She has a great background in public education and can speak to issues or concepts very quickly and very clearly, which is a value to our group. So more of that in the membership, I think, would be valuable. And then succession planning, we do want to identify people who are interested in leadership roles, who either are immediately available or wish to be developed so that we can build a bench for leadership. That is the legacy that we would like to leave the group when we depart our positions, lining up potential candidates for the leadership roles. And then our goal this summer is to fill all of the roles that we have for the next school year. That would be a committee lead or a work focus lead for each of the 4 groups, as well as all 3 elected positions, and then ideally interested folks, identifying them for potential leadership roles. Membership, as we look forward, onboarding, the first attempt we had was in September. It was a single meeting and it was a single PowerPoint presentation. With Christy and your input tonight, we want to have a positive onboarding experience for members. We want to drive retention through providing opportunities to learn, contribute, and engage in all of the DAC work, tying back to that previous slide. It's a volunteer opportunity to give back to community. We want to communicate that opportunity to potential members as well. And then it's not insignificant the level of interaction that members have with Board of Education members and district leadership. You get perspectives and you're able to offer your own perspectives in those audiences. And I think that that's a valuable part of being a member here. And that's something Erin and I seek to continue to provide. As I mentioned earlier, we need a membership team heading into the summer. That set of tasks will include reviewing membership applications, the actual documents that come in, doing interviews by phone. We're really not so much as a job interview, but taking, 10, 15, 20 minutes per candidate, explaining what the DAC is, what the role consists of if there are questions, and then relating your own experience about what it's like to be a DAC member. And that helps to set mutual expectations. It's good to understand why people want to join, and then make sure that that rationale is actually appropriate for the role. We don't want people coming in misguided that they're going to influence certain parts of the district where that's simply not true. So we're looking for 4 to 5 volunteers based on the number of applications we think we're going to get. Roughly a 2-hour total commitment over the summer. We believe you'll be done by the end of August. We would assign 3 to 5 candidates per volunteer. Again, 15 to 20 minutes spent with each candidate, and then a wrap-up meeting with all of us toward the end of summer to go through the applicants as a group, make recommendations, committee selections, and any potential skills that they can bring to the DAC. So we will be asking in a poll later, as well as in a Jamboard, if this is resonating with you. Again, we really like 4 to 5 of us to do that throughout the summer. Any questions on that specific role? Comments? Christy, this is your 20 seconds notice. I'm going to turn it over to Christy to talk through a couple of slides. Christy is in the HR world as part of her professional career, not as part, that is her professional career. She was with Adams 12 before taking a position in private industry. So Christy, I'm going to turn it over to you and let me know when you want me to advance the slides.
Sounds great. Thank you. So just talking a little bit about recruiting, thinking through just from the HR side, and it's a little different whenever you're recruiting volunteers versus paid employees, but a lot of the concepts still translate. So I think of the items that we need to identify, and I think in our breakouts in a little bit, we're going to talk more about this. But the number of members that we hope to recruit, what's our target for this summer that we want to have join the DAC. The timeline for recruiting, Jack mentioned this a little bit, but probably starting in the next week or so through August would be our recruiting timeframe. Recruitment Committee. So this is again what Jack just talked about, having a group of us that can work through this, talk with new members, do those interviews and make the recommendations. Also spreading the word would be a part of that recruitment committee, being able to help just try and get new members. And then what's working and what isn't working. Whenever I think about recruiting is talking to current members of what we think we're doing well and what we're not doing well. And Jack pointed out to me that that's in the survey that went out this morning to everyone. So I think we'll get more feedback on that in addition to the discussions that we'll be having in a little bit. So as far as recruiting, for the volunteers, there's different types of volunteer boards that are out there within Adams 12 community, but also Indeed has a volunteer board that we could target the Adams 12 community through, or our district boundary. So those are some resources that we could post the job descriptions that we have to try and attract more volunteers rather than just word of mouth or through district employees or through current members. To the right's just an example of what a flyer could look like that we could post to some community boards, or Adams 12 could post to social media accounts to try and get the word out more about the DAC. If you can advance for me, Jack. Just a little bit more on this. So just thinking through how can we utilize current members to help with recruiting? It's really spreading the word, referring any community members or parents that you know of that you think could be a good fit for the DAC, talking with neighbors, friends, family, spreading the word about it is the best way, even for recruiting paid employees, referrals are the number one way to get new employees. The DAC website, I know that this has been on Jack and Aaron's list, but if, on a flyer or on these postings, we're spreading the word and we're telling people to go to our DAC website, we need to make sure that the DAC website has good information that keeps them engaged and makes them want to continue and apply for the position, not get to the website and completely X out of it before they even get through the page. I think the application's at the bottom. It's not open right now, but and I think we're going to talk a little bit more about the application itself, but just kind of revamping that website, making sure if we're getting people to the stage of getting to the website that we keep them engaged and have good information there to share. Just some things I thought about were maybe a testimony or two from current DAC members, a quote or something that might intrigue someone to continue and apply. And then FAQs, maybe there's a few quick questions we can have on the main page that answer some of the main questions that come to all of our minds whenever we think about the DAC. And then finally, onboarding for new members. So Jack talked about this a little bit, but just thinking through how onboarding could be a more positive experience, creating a checklist of things that we want to make sure happens for each new member of the DAC. And then also some sort of mentorship program so that new members have a buddy whenever they start. If it can be a little overwhelming, especially if you don't know anyone coming to the first meeting. So having that person assigned just to help you through the process. We wanted to talk through what that program could look like. Next slide, Jack. Or I think you're going to take this next one.
I am. Thank you. I appreciate that, Christy. Give my voice a little bit of a break and give everyone else a little bit of a break. We're going to split out into two rooms here in just a minute. There is a Jam board that I will put in the comments now. Sorry for the delay. If you'd take a second and click that to at least open it. We may only need one or two in each room, but go ahead and follow that link. The Jamboard is 5 pages. We're not going to have one for each of the rooms. We're all going to be editing the same 5 pages, and we'll be addressing the questions that are on the screen now. What keywords or phrases related to your experience in DAC would attract new members? So as we're talking or presenting, what resonates for you when you think back to joining DAC or through your experience now? What FAQs would candidates have? So as you came in to this group, what questions did you have arriving? What is maybe still unanswered or should have been answered very early on so that we can address that? As we look to build a membership or mentorship program, what would that look like for DAC? In your experience as new members or returning members, we want to get some ideas on the Jamboard around that. What items would be on a new member checklist? What resources, tools, names, those sorts of things would you have liked to have had as a new member? And then who in your group is interested in the membership committee? So please put a first and last name on a sticky where that is appropriate. Christy is going to lead one room, I'll lead the other. We're going to break out for 30 minutes. I may bounce in to see how it's going in the other group. So that's 5 or 6 minutes per topic, maybe a little longer if we're just throwing names in for the last one. But Jean, well, actually, let me ask if there's any questions around what we're working to achieve tonight.
Yeah, Jack,
I think people need access.
Sorry.
Okay, can someone give me real-time support? Because I thought Jamboards were. Oh, can you try again? Can someone give me a thumbs up? Oh, Laura's in, so we should
Yep.
be good.
We're good.
Any other questions or comments about this? Okay, Jean, would you split us into 2 rooms, please? And we'll go till 7 o'clock. Jean, we're all coming back. All right, welcome back, everyone. It was great to see those popping up as one group on a single tab. The frequently asked questions, FAQs, those were great, as well as the keywords and phrases. This is what I love about this group. We get so many different perspectives and ideas. This will be extremely helpful for Aaron and I and Christy, and those of you that eventually sign up, put your name on the membership committee. We really do need to fill that. So if not before we break tonight, feel free to send an email with some interest. Again, it's 2 hours over the summer to get us farther along the recruitment path. To wrap up tonight, I've lost my screen. There we go. Summer schedule. So back in August at our first meeting, Aaron was gone, it was me, mentioned that we are shifting the DAC to be a year-round work group, primarily because we have administrative and scheduling tasks that we need to complete and line out the program year for the fall and spring, but also because the UIP deadline in October requires that our group focus on that during the summer. So we need to understand your interests and your availability. It's a very simple survey that we're going to conduct here in a second. I'm going to stop sharing because that's really the last slide. So we're going to ask you to pick one option for your availability. We understand vacations, holidays, other commitments will potentially interfere. The idea is just to get a sense of your frequency that you're willing to commit through June, July, and August. If you have known conflicts, go ahead and enter that in number 2, but we will coordinate meeting dates and times later. So basically, are you interested in 0 meetings, 1 meeting all summer, 1 meeting a month, or 2 meetings a month? We've got 2 of 11, 3, 5. Seven. I'm going to close it in about 30 seconds and we'll go to the second question. All right. And the second question is around your focus. This is multiple choice. You can select one or many. So DAC planning and administrative work, if you'd like to help us plan the 22-23 program year, that would be the first one. Recruiting and onboarding is sort of a duplicate of the last tab of the Jamboard. The regular UIP work will be back to normal. Spending priorities, process planning is helping us outline what that program will look like. Charter renewal needs to be finalized so that we can do the work in the fall. This is working with Mary Ann to finish up that rating tool and site visit planning. And then the last one is further development of our school accountability committee outreach. I'm going to let that go another 45 seconds or so. I got a chat message that one person's having trouble. If that's the case for someone else, go ahead and add that to the chat and I'll make a note. We got the same number of responses here, so I'm going to go ahead and close the poll. Thank you for that. Any commentary or questions about what we did tonight? I want to extend some thanks for the feedback. There's a lot of it to digest. This group gives great feedback. Our next meeting will be in person. Erin will be leading that and I will be out. That will continue our work with the SAC toolkit, maybe outlining some summer work with that program. I'm going to adjourn if there aren't any more comments. Let you guys get on with your evening a little early tonight.
Are the next two meetings, Jack, just Jack checking, May 11th and May 25th, is that right? Or just May 11th?
There is only one meeting in May. It's the 11th and it's in person. The other one is graduations and Memorial Day. Right. So no meeting, no second meeting in May.
Okay, thank you.
Yep. I will hang around and be the last one to leave the meeting if anyone has questions or comments. Have a great evening.